You said you don't believe in the hereafter.
I do not believe it.
Okay, can you share your reasons why you don't believe in the afterlife?
Well, I would say for me it's more psychological than anything. I think the need to believe in an afterlife, it's really just a way of dealing with your anxieties about wanting to make the most of this life. I think.
But that's not, you realize that's not an argument against the afterlife, right?
No, it's not an argument for the afterlife. I mean, I can bring more, like, let's say, scientific arguments.
Okay, let's address one at a time. Yeah. So let's deal with the first thing you just said.
Well, I'm very much influenced by, for example, Friedrich Nietzsche, and I'm very much influenced by what he taught about morality.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's more Christian morality than Muslim, but it's kind of similar in the sense that there is an afterlife, and you try to be a good person in order to gain God's favor in the afterlife. But I don't know. I just see it as a flawed thing, because I see life. This existence is all I have.
Yeah. So Nietzsche,
and I have to make the most out of it.
Okay.
And in order to make the most out of it, I have to. Morality, the Islamic morality, the Christian morality is not going to help me achieve that.
Okay. So let's try to unravel some of those points. Or just see if we could get to the bottom of them. So first thing, when you said you don't believe in the afterlife, you said it's more of a psychological. I'm assuming you're saying a personal thing.
Yeah.
And what you said was that. What I took from what you said was something quite common that some atheists would postulate, which is that religion is comfortable. It brings comfort by making this whole idea of the afterlife.
Yes.
Right? Now, my first point
gives you an easy way out
to deal with it.
To deal with it. But it doesn't actually deal with it.
Okay, good. So here's the first thing I would say. That analysis is not an argument against the afterlife, right? It's just the way you're looking at or trying to explain the afterlife, right? It's not an argument against it, first point. Second point is, it's like saying water quenches your thirst. It's a bad analogy, but hopefully it gets the point. We know water quenches your thirst, therefore water was created just to quench a person's thirst. It doesn't logically follow. Water, yes, quenches human thirst, but water has many other objectives too. It's used in many other ways. It waters the earth, it allows for plants to grow, X, Y, and Z, right? So what I would say is, yes, what religion and Islam teaches about the afterlife brings comfort to the human being, right? Brings assurance to the human being, makes things comfortable for them. But I would say it does that because the human being that it brings comfort to is a being that was created by God, which was created with certain needs. And one of the needs of a human being is to have comfort and to have reassurance. And then God gives the human being reassurance by revealing the truth to him about the hereafter. Right? So again, what we're saying is we're looking at the same thing from two different perspectives. Right? My main question to you was, do you have reasons other than just your way of looking at things for denying the hereafter? Like, I'm just interested in that.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the psychological. I think personally it just doesn't benefit me, because I feel like if I do believe in the afterlife, I feel I'm going to be more complacent about this life.
How is that work?
I don't know, I feel like, okay, I can satisfy my desires in the hereafter. I'd rather satisfy them here and now, right?
But that's more about the immediate gratification.
And that's more, but it could be anything. It could be like I work long hours, for example. I try to become quite successful. It's one of my goals, to be successful in life and to be financially free. And I feel like if I were to believe in Islam or pray 5 times a day, I think that could hinder that. It would make me more complacent. It could make me comfortable.
If you see, again, I think the problem is appreciating the whole picture. So if you just see the prayers and practices of Islam for this world, and you don't see the benefit of them or understand the benefit of them, then obviously they become a hardship, right? It's like with anything, right? If you don't see the benefit in something, you won't really do it. You'll just see it as a baggage, just something you have to do and it's wasting your time. But when you really understand what they are, then it changes your perspective. It's all about understanding. It's like if you understand the value of you working at your job for the number of hours you do, right? Therefore you do those hours. And you don't see them as a burden or a hindrance, because you know you got to pay your bills, X, Y, and Z. Now if you understood the value of the prayer, the practices and worshipping God, which is eternal paradise, and that was you eternalize that reality, then it wouldn't be a hindrance. If anything, it will be something you strive towards, right? But you said something about science. Can you elaborate upon that, about the afterlife and science?
No, I mean, if you want me to talk about like a scientific explanation as to why I don't believe in the hereafter,
Is that a reason you? Is that one of? Is that you
really,
something you take?
It's not really a reason I take. I mean,
Okay.
it's something I could talk about it if you want as an extra, but it's not really my main reason for not believing it.
Because here's what I'm thinking in my mind. Let me just be honest with you. When I'm talking to you, bro, I'm thinking you're not giving me. You don't seem to be someone that's denying the hereafter cutthroat. Like there is no hereafter. It just seems to be a personal belief type of thing. Like I don't find the belief in the hereafter important or something like this. But what I'm thinking is you're denying a reality which and I'm not saying this with hatred or dislike in any shape, bro. You're denying a reality, bro, where there could potentially be eternal doom and hellfire and punishment just because it's not convenient to you in the here and now. You're sacrificing your eternity. For me, that something's not adding up there. I'm just trying to understand what's going on inside. Why, like, if you knew, for example, standing with me and talking to me for 15 minutes means you're gonna have to jump in a pool of fire, and you understood this, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
right?
It sounds like what you're talking about is what Pascal talked about. Pascal's wager was that it would be more beneficial to believe in God anyhow, because it's a bet. It's better to believe in God.
Yeah, I'm not taking that route. I'm just trying to know. I want to know, like, you don't believe in the hereafter, right?
No, and
because I'm trying to understand. Is it because when you said science, what I assumed, it's maybe just an assumption on my part, was that there is no empirical data for anything beyond the physical. Therefore, you don't believe in a reality which is beyond this material physical world that we see, based on our five senses. Now, if you took that line of reasoning, then that would be giving me a reason for why you deny the hereafter, right? But you're not giving me that either. So I'm just trying to understand what your reason for denial is.
Because you see, existence is... I mean, people talk about death, right? But people don't experience that, right? I mean...
But those dying experience death, right?
When you're dying, you don't experience that.
You're going through the process of dying.
Well, you don't go through it. You don't read. You don't attend your own funeral, right?
Okay.
So death is something it's a possibility that's out there.
So you're talking about after death. That's what you're saying. Right? Once someone dies, you're saying he's no longer there.
Well, I mean, death itself and what's after death as well. You only see death as a possibility.
I see, or you?
I mean, every human being, I think.
Wouldn't you say death is a reality? Like everyone's gonna die?
It's a possibility for you right now, but when it comes, you're not there to experience it. So
I would say you experience death because you die, but once you're dead, then that's where the debate comes in. Because even the atheists, no matter who, you would agree that the person dying experiences the pains and pangs of death, and obviously has a personal, subjective experience of that moment of death. Obviously, once they're dead, that's the question now, what happens after death, right? So I'm just trying to understand, like, let me be a bit more clear, a bit more blunt, because I think we could do this because I know you well enough, right? And you won't, I'm telling you, Mustafa, I'm telling you that when you die, you're going to wake up on the other side. And you're going to, how this awareness is going to be, I don't know, but you're going to be completely aware of the reality that there is heaven and there is hell. There's Jannah and Jahannam in the Arabic, right? Now, Jannah is an amazing, beautiful place which you can attain. And Jahannam is the place where you don't want to go because it's torment, hellfire, all of these things, right? Now, if you want to avoid this hellfire, I'm telling you, you don't have to sign a check of $100 million. You don't have to sell your house. You don't have to divorce your wife. You don't have to give up your job. All you have to do is acknowledge your Creator and worship Him, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now,
but it's not just that. It comes with conditions. Acknowledging your Creator is one thing, right?
Yeah.
But it also comes with conditions which I'm not comfortable with.
Such as?
Now, I mean, sorry, are you still okay to hear me?
Yes.
So, For example, in Islam, like if I were to become a Muslim, let's say today,
Yeah.
if I have a child, I have to circumcise him. Now, I'm anti-circumcision, and I have very strong convictions about that.
Yeah. What you were saying was, it's not only about acknowledging your Creator and worshipping Him. You said there was other things that come with it,
Yes,
which you're not comfortable with.
Yes,
Yeah.
so circumcision is one thing.
Okay.
There are plenty of other things that I would have to do. I would have to do.
Okay. What about if I told you, just to clarify?
Accept that I just cannot accept.
Okay. So say I said this to you, bro, and we'll deal with you not wanting to accept it or not agreeing with it. Secondly, but I want you to just realize something, bro. That when you acknowledge Allah and you submit to Him, and you acknowledge that He is your Creator and you are His slave, and you are agreeing to try to worship Him the best you can, as long as you don't do shirk, bro.
Yeah.
Shirk meaning obviously associating partners with God in any way, shape or form. Doesn't mean you don't do any sins. Every person, every human being, every Muslim falls into sins at some point, right? It's not that you don't do sins, that you don't do shirk. That alone will eventually enter you into paradise. Right? Now, I want you to understand this. The magnitude of the Shahada, which is the testification that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah alone, and that Prophet Muhammad is His final messenger. If you were to just take this Shahada, bro, let me put it this way for you. If you took the declaration of faith now, and you became Muslim, someone who submits to God, right? And you leave the park and you get hit by a bus, technically, as we know from the Islamic tradition, as soon as you take the Shahada, your evil deeds are wiped, right? You would die in a pure state, which means straight to paradise, right? Now, even if you just took the Shahada and you became Muslim, and you try to adhere to Islam and do the best you can, and to implement the prayers and to do the fasting, but you fell short, you failed. Let's not even go to the smaller bit. Let's talk about the 5 pillars, the pillars of Islam: fasting in Ramadan, the prayer, second most important thing after the Shahada. If you were tried, it's important. You need to pray, but you failed. You didn't do it for 2 days. Something came up. You got weak, X, Y, and Z. You didn't fall short on this. You can still attain paradise, bro.
Yeah,
right? Because did you see the point?
I know, but
so I just want you to remove the unnecessary barriers that you have in your mind, bro. That's what I'm saying to you. The most important thing is acknowledging your Creator.
It sounds like Pascal's wager.
No, it isn't. This is Islam, bro.
I know, but it sounds very much like his argument.
Pascal's wager is different.
You have more benefit to just believing God rather than not believing God.
I'm not even saying this. I'm saying, why would you give up paradise and want hellfire when God has made it so easy for you? And I'm just explaining to you how easy it is.
But it's not easy. It's not easy. I cannot, for example, change my view on circumcision. It's just impossible.
Okay, so say you become
So if I become a Muslim and have Muslim children, if they're not circumcised, they might not be accepted by the community. Right. I cannot, within good faith, belong to a community that does circumcise their children, because I wouldn't want to associate myself with that. So this is just one very trivial example. I can give you other examples, but this is just one.
So, but what I'm saying to you, bro, is this one plus any other example you give me, in the grand scheme of things, they're very trivial. Sure. Don't let the community, in other words, what I'm saying, don't let what the community says or thinks, which is irrelevant, to be honest, keep you away from turning to your Creator and acknowledging Him. Because on the Day of Judgment, bro, the community is not going to come and save you. Yeah. Right? It's going to be you in front of your Creator. Yeah. Right?
Individual.
So what people think, to be honest, bro, with all due respect to people, unfortunately what we do is we give people too much importance. We need to give our Creator the importance first and foremost, right? And trust me, bro, I've been there, where when I first started practicing, I went to a very agnostic phase in my life where I didn't care, right? When I first started practicing, I thought there's going to be 101 things I can't do in Islam. Even today, there's many things I think I can't do. But God makes it easy. Whatever He gives you the ability to do, you do. And you keep trying. You keep trying, right? And I really want, and the reason I emphasize it is because I want to really clarify this for you, so there's no shred of confusion in your mind about this. God is not looking for perfection from us, bro. Any of us. We weren't created in the way that we would be perfect, and we would never sin, don't fall short. God tells us that if you were to stop sinning and just became perfect, He will replace you with another creation. It defeats the objective of what a human being is. We will fall short. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence, right? That's all it is, bro. I'm saying to you, if you just acknowledge your Creator, like I said before, you don't have to sign a check of 100 million, you have to do X, Y, and Z, just acknowledge your Creator, Acknowledge He's there, and you were created to worship Him. And do the best you can to be a good person. Do the best you can to follow Islam. Do the best you can in your capacity, to your ability, to live like a good Muslim. Whatever your capacity is, God knows. I don't know. I can't judge you, and I shouldn't judge you, right? Unfortunately, Muslims judge. We judge each other. It's a nasty thing, right? God knows best ways. Yes, we are to advise each other to do better, but unfortunately, we don't advise. We judge, right? Which is a sad thing, yeah. And it's upsetting. It upsets me too. Saying just like I don't let there be a barrier between me and my Creator, you shouldn't let there be a barrier between you and God too, right? That's what I'm saying. And don't give up eternal paradise, bro, for.
That's if you believe in eternal
Mr.
paradise.
God knows who. Yeah, so that's the question now. So if you do have reasons why you deny the hereafter, paradise and hellfire, if you have reasons, I'm just asking you what those reasons are. Have you got some good reasons which have led you to your conviction that there is no hell or heaven, or there's no Jannah and Jahannam, no paradise or hellfire?
No, I mean, I don't believe in life after death, so...
Why don't? So, natural question is, why don't you believe in the life after death?
I have no good reason to believe. I mean,
See, that tells me, at least it points out to me, that there's something underlying that. There is an emotional, maybe a psychological, some sort of underlying reason which is preventing you from acknowledging something which you don't have reasons not to believe. Have a think. Maybe
there is something psychological.
Because the way I'm thinking about, like I said,
psychological prejudice to not believing in it. But
so the way I'm thinking, you're a rational guy, you're an intelligent guy. Why would you sacrifice your eternity based on something you don't have reasons to deny? It doesn't seem like you have reasons to deny.
I wouldn't say I'm rational, but I don't think human beings are.
Okay, say day of let me put it a different way to you, bro. Say the day of judgment is starting. You're standing in front of God. You're the other side. And this life's over.
God exists. Yeah.
Well, we've discussed this before. We could discuss this too, right? But let's just go with the example for now. You're standing in front of God.
Assuming that
God exists. You're standing in front of God, and He asks you, why did you deny Him? Why did you deny the hereafter? Right? What would your reason be? What would you say?
I would probably say you should have made yourself more. They've made your presence more clear and more evident.
Okay, good. So now we've got something to work on, right? So again, it seems to be coming down to you don't feel God has made Himself evident to you. Okay, so now let me ask you the question, bro. What would you consider as evidence enough that God exists to convince you?
Yeah, you've kind of cornered me again. Because I don't have a good reason, actually. I don't really have a good reason.
So go back to the scenario in the Day of Judgment, bro.
Similar to the life, the here and after.
So go back. Okay, so take you back to the Day of Judgment. You're standing there and you say, you could have made things a bit more evident to me. And God asks you, do you really believe that? You're like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I really believe that. I'm just saying that. Do you see? So it's something you need to really think through, bro. Yeah. You know, that you're giving a reason. God didn't make Himself evident, but when I'm asking you what would evidence be to you, you don't know. Because I would say that, bro, as we can keep it very simple, is that you having a discussion with me now, you observing the world around you right now through your eyes, and you're seeing the world and experiencing it through your physical body, you're actually having a spiritual experience right now.
Really?
We're all having a spiritual experience right now. The only reason we don't acknowledge it is because we're just become accustomed to it. Like, if you think about it from a naturalist perspective, all you are is just a rearrangement of matter, right? You're just a composition of matter and molecules. Yet you are so and so. You have a name. You're looking the world. You're studying the world. You're understanding. You're conscious. You're aware. You're having a spiritual experience right now. Yeah, you're not like this gate, which is not observing or understanding the world around it. You are. You're seeing me. You're understanding me. You're hearing ambient sounds from around you. You're aware of reality. You're aware of your loved ones. You're thinking about what you're going to do this evening. You're actually having a spiritual experience. So if you're looking from the perspective of evidence, I would say there's more than ample evidence. Some of the greatest evidence is ourselves and just our own creation, the way we are as human beings, which you can't even begin to explain via naturalism. You know?
I mean, yeah, you can't explain supernatural phenomena through naturalistic methods.
Yeah, and I would say we're having a supernatural experience right now because consciousness is something, the hard problem of consciousness. In the study, I'm not an expert on it, but there's a brilliant book I really recommend you read. Hamza's written a book. Have you read it? The Divine Reality.
No, you recommended it before.
Bro, please do read it. It's brilliant. It's actually phenomenal, and he is a chapter on this as well, I believe, on consciousness. because there's something called the hard problem of consciousness in the realm of science, where they can't fathom our personal subjective first-hand experience. You know,
it's
not
we
physical
haven't
thing.
understood consciousness.
And you can't quantify it because your experience is personal to you. They can stick you to some monitor and give you a piece of chocolate, and as you enjoy that chocolate, they can see changes in brain waves, right? They can monitor this, but what it feels for you to taste that chocolate, your personal experience, they can never encapsulate that. So all they can show is that your conscious experience is somehow linked to your physical being, but it's not your physical being. That
So you're saying that points to the supernatural?
that's beyond the physical.
I don't see that as good enough reason to point to the supernatural.
I would say that's a great reason. I would say there's many other reasons.
Just because we cannot say why, or we cannot explain what the taste of ice cream is like unless we experience it ourselves, that doesn't prove that there's
So what I'm saying is your personal first-hand experience of tasting ice cream, that cannot be measured in a test tube. That experience you're having right now, conscious experience, is not a physical thing. It's attached to the physical. It's attached to your physical body, but it's not physical. It's not material. If you want to put it in that way, maybe a better way of putting it.
Yeah, you can't reduce it to
Matter. Yeah. So it's like you're living a non-material experience, yet, I'm not saying you are, but atheists, they're living a non-material experience, this consciousness, yet they are arguing for just matter. And I see a contradiction in the whole worldview, their own existence and the worldview that they hold, even just from this perspective. Let alone making sense of our rationality, morality, X, Y, and Z.
I think these things are just a mystery to me at the moment, and I'm working them out myself as an individual.
Yes.
So I study a lot about psychology, and I try to find out, more about what the human is and why we have these experiences, why we enjoy music, for example, or why we enjoy taking care of somebody or love or these kind of things. But I don't think they really. I don't know. I have a prejudice, I suppose, of not wanting to assign them to a creator or something supernatural. I always try to find a materialistic explanation, a natural explanation.
But what I would say is, because so far it doesn't seem like you've thought through reasons for why you deny the hereafter, or God, right? So I would say, if it's based on prejudices or your own personal emotional experiences, I would say, bro, humbly, that don't let that be a reason for you to fall short of the hereafter and end up somewhere where no one wants to end up, right? Because if you let your personal experiences and your emotional prejudices be greater than God in a sense, yeah?
But we all have to make these choices. We all have to make these choices in our lives as individuals. You've made the choice to follow Islam. I've made the choice to, be an atheist and follow my convictions, and I think this is just the way it is. I think we will all just kind of affirm certain things that we study and we understand, and we're gonna deny certain things, and that journey. I
can respect that, bro.
That journey has led me to atheism.
But what I would say is that from our discussion so far, it seems like a lot of the reasons you hold the position you hold is based on your emotional experiences and the beliefs you formulated based on them.
I'll concede that.
So what I would say is, don't let the misunderstanding of those personal experiences be the reason you deny the reality and end up in hell, right? For lack of better words. And I'm not condemning them. I pray God guides you and guides all of us, right? So we all end up in paradise. But
hopefully we're all guided to the truth.
Yes, and don't let those reasons be the reason you end up somewhere you don't want to go. That's what I'm saying. Because maybe you can pick up this discussion next time when we meet.
Sure, absolutely.
On the reasons why. Maybe you can think things through, But for now, what I would say is, because the fact that you don't have good reasons to deny the hereafter, yet you're denying the hereafter, obviously clearly says you've acknowledged that there are some personal reasons. Maybe try to take some time out and sit with those reasons and thoughts and what happened in those experiences. Let's just work through, right? Because sometimes our personal experiences could be a barrier even for us in this life, right? They can be. How many times do children that have bad experiences, then they just find it hard to socialize in life with other people and miss out on opportunities in life, right? That's this life. I'm saying, let's look at the bigger picture. Let's not miss out on the hereafter based on just limited personal experiences that we misunderstood in this life, right? Maybe you can pick up next time on this and discuss these points a bit more and maybe flesh them out a bit more.
Absolutely, yeah.
Really nice talking to you again, bro.
It's a pleasure, all right.
God bless, man. Really nice. Thank you, Mr. Thank you.